sales documents. Here go to sales document header. Here, for example, you can define your own sales document types. Assign sales area to sales document types is one important configuration which you need to make. So here you can have these options of common distribution channel, common division, assign sales order types permitted for sales area. So for which sales area you intend to use your sales document type, we should assign that sales document type to that particular sales area. So like for example, for our sales area, 1000 and 00, you can see what are the permitted sales document types. So these are the permitted sales document types. So this is one important configuration which you need to understand. Otherwise, you will not be able to use the sales document type which you have created. So we need to make this configuration as well. Okay, so then we saw how to create orders by referring to quotation and how to create quotation by referring to inquiry. What is an inquiry? What is a quotation? We have seen. Then what is the structure of the sales document? We have seen. So sales document will have header, item and schedule line. And what is the significance of the header? Who controls the header and who controls the item and who controls the schedule line? So what is important information that will be held in the header? Similarly, what is the important information that will be held at the item and what information will be held at the schedule line? We have seen that. And how to control them. Sales document type header will be controlled by sales document type. Item will be controlled by the item category and schedule line will be controlled by the schedule line category. And how to have the automatic determination of item category and schedule line category in the sales document we have seen. Then what is the delivery process? How we create delivery document from sales order? It can be either online or collective processing. So we saw what is the collective processing and what are the different transaction codes that are available for collective processing and how to select the delivery due list, what is the input screen and how the delivery due list will look like, how to select the documents and how to do a collective delivery creation either in the background or in the foreground. Then we saw what is the delivery combination and what is delivery split. And then we saw collective processing for billing. So that is another option for creating billing documents. What is a billing due list? Similarly, we saw what is outbound delivery monitor. So what are the different options that are available for the delivery processing to process the deliveries, to create transfer orders in mass, to update post goods issue in mass. So what are the options available? We have seen that. So then we saw what is the availability check, what is forward scheduling, what is backward scheduling, what is transfer of requirements, what is the settings for transfer of requirements, where we can see the availability check. So we can see availability check in the material master. So then we saw what is the assembly processing with or without so the make to order process, then variant configuration, production orders, bills of materials. We had a look at what is bills of materials, what is the bills of material scenarios. So two different scenarios we have, one with pricing at the main line and another with pricing at the subline. So how to create bill of material and what is a bill of material, what are the transaction used in bill of material, we have seen yesterday. Then we saw the partner determination procedure in completion procedure. Then we introduced what is condition technique. So what is a condition technique? how to use condition technique for material determination, material listing and exclusion, and free goods. Then we also saw automatic data determination in sales document, like how plant is getting determined automatically, how shipping point is getting determined automatically, or how route is getting determined automatically. We have seen that. And then we saw what is the details of the delivery processing. So what is the transfer order? What is the org elements related to warehouse? And what are the significant features of a transfer order? So what information a transfer order contains, then how to create transfer order, how to confirm transfer order. So then we saw how to perform packing. Then we saw what is service material. So then how to perform post goods issue and how to reverse the post goods issue. We have seen until this yesterday. So any queries or doubts on these concepts which we discussed yesterday from anyone?
No, sir.
So you're all thorough on these concepts. So fine. So let us move ahead with today's discussion. So we start today our discussion with pricing. So what are the concepts related to pricing which we discussed? So what is pricing? We saw what is the concept of pricing. What are the different components of pricing? So different components are generally the price, um, freight, discounts, surcharges, and tax. They put together, they contribute the price. And what is the significance of having a price inside the sales order? So without price we will not be able to sell the product, so we need to have a price for the product, and the price is determined based on certain criteria. So we have something called the price condition types. So these price condition types, there are different condition types for different price components. So we have standard price condition type. For example, PR00 represents standard condition type which represents price. We have condition types for other components like discounts and surcharges, and then we have price condition type for taxes, then we have price condition types for freight. So the condition type definition, will be having some small changes in these definitions, so that we will be able to differentiate between these different condition types. So we have something called the condition class, then we have condition category, and then we have a special field called the plus or minus. So based on these fields, we will be able to distinguish between the different condition types. So what is the condition class, what is condition category, and the plus or minus symbol or the setting for that. So based on this, we will be able to differentiate the different condition, whether it is a price condition or whether it is a um, discount condition or a surcharge condition, or whether it is a tax condition or a rebate condition. So all these we can distinguish based on the settings in the condition type. Then we have other settings in the condition type, like whether this condition can be manually updated. So what are the precedence the system will take? Manually added condition will have more preference, or the automatically determined will have the more preference. So then we also have other settings related to condition update, whether this condition is a group condition. So we saw what are the group conditions, how the value at the header is getting split up amongst the items. There are two ways in which we do this. One, the entire value will get added on to the uh, each item, or the value, the header condition value gets split amongst the items. So in those cases you will be seeing that the group condition check would be enabled, and we have something called the group condition routine there. So this is the typical condition type configuration screen, whether you can see here all the relevant fields that we discussed, whether the condition type will act as a header condition or a item condition, then what is the scale basis, on what basis the currency conversion, invoice list condition, all these things will happen. So I already informed you, like you need to go through each and every field to understand the significance of these fields so that you can use it in your process or in your sales process. Relevant settings you can make. So we have something called the exclusion. So if you want to exclude this particular condition type, or if you want to exclude this from the calculation, then you can mark it as exclusion. So all these condition type related configurations are present in the system. So here we have something called the access sequence. So you should be able to define your access sequence, and then you need to update the access sequence here. So for example, now here if we go and look at the access sequence which is assigned to this particular condition type, we will know what are the tables that are placed inside the access sequence. So for example, we go into this and we are going into this access sequence. So let us select this access sequence and go to the accesses. Here you see that these are the different tables that are placed here, and here we have something called exclusive tick mark. So this is exclusive. Why? Because what is the significance of this exclusive? Now for example, if the system is searching based on the first combination, and if it finds a valid condition record, then it should not go further. So that is the reason why we have marked this as exclusive. If you don't mark this as exclusive, then the system will go to the next access to check for valid condition record, even though it has found a valid condition record for the first access. So we need to maintain this as exclusive. Otherwise, the system will keep on searching for the next accesses, even though if it has found a valid condition record for the first access. So you need to maintain this exclusive check. And we have something called requirement. Certain conditions we need to satisfy in order to have this access enabled. So this will be added in this requirement column. So this is about the access sequence which is assigned to this PR00 condition type. So then this PR002 or PR02 access, we will see inside this access, we saw the condition tables. So if you want to create a condition table, we need to ensure that you have all the relevant fields in the field catalog. So if you don't have any relevant fields, then you need to add the fields to the field catalog before creating the condition table. So once the condition table is created, then we can add the condition table to the access sequence, and then you can create your condition type and place the condition type inside your pricing procedure. So we saw what is a pricing procedure, how pricing procedure gets determined for any sales order automatically. So this is a very important configuration. So you should be aware of how pricing procedure gets determined automatically. So if you go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG, and go to sales and distribution, basic functions, pricing control. Here define and assign pricing procedures. So here you can see define price procedure determination. So here what you can see here. So what is the pricing procedure determination based on? So it is based on sales or distribution channel division, document pricing procedure, and customer pricing procedure. So the document pricing procedure gets picked up from the sales document, and the customer pricing procedure gets picked up from the customer master. So against this, we have maintained the pricing procedure. So there could be instances where a sales document will have a price procedure, and a billing document will be having a different pricing procedure. So if you see in sales document type configuration, we saw a document pricing procedure, and similarly in the billing document type configuration also, we can see there is a document type or the document procedure field. So for example, if you go to billing, here if you go to billing documents, define billing types. So let us check standard billing document type F2. So if you go and select the details, here you can see document pricing procedure is A. So in case if the document pricing procedure of sales document what you are using and the billing document price procedure is different, then we will have a different pricing procedure that will get determined in the billing document. So that scenario is also possible. I hope you are able to follow what I'm trying to tell.
Sir, then which pricing procedure billing document type acquires if it's
That's what
not the same?
here. See, here we have the assignment, right? Price procedure assignment we are having. Pricing procedure determination configuration is there here. So if you go here, basic functions, pricing, pricing control, define and assign pricing procedures. Here you can see define pricing procedure determination. So now let us take the example of our sales org 1000, distribution channel 10, division 00. Now in our document type, for example OR, okay,
Hmm.
EOV8. So in OR, if we can check what is the document pricing procedure. So here you see here you can see the document pricing procedure is A, okay, and now the pricing procedure that will get determined will be based on, for example, sales or 1000, distribution channel 10, division 00, document pricing procedure is A, and our customer's pricing procedure, for example, if it is 1, then this pricing procedure will get determined in the sales order. Fine. Now when you are trying to create billing, there is another document pricing procedure in the billing document type. In case if that has a different document pricing procedure, then for example if that has a document pricing procedure of C, for example, then the customer pricing procedure remains 1, and this is pricing procedure will get determined in the billing document. So there could be possibility of a different billing pricing procedure getting determined in the sales order and in the billing document. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. So it is not that always if the pricing procedure gets determined in the sales order, it will remain the same to the billing also. It all depends on the document pricing procedure of the billing document type as well. Did you get my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how the pricing procedure gets determined. So if we go and look at how the pricing procedure looks like, where we have 16 fields inside the pricing procedure. I hope you all remember what are those 16 fields. So if I go to standard pricing procedure, RVA01. So this is the standard pricing procedure. So if I go here and to control data, here you can see the 16 fields. So what are those 16 fields? Six step, counter, condition type, description, from, to, mandatory, manual, mandatory, statistical, print, subtotal, requirement, calculation type, alternate condition base value, account key, and accruals. So you know the significance of these 16 fields. So step, you know what is a step, you know what is a counter. So counter is nothing but a step within a step. And then we saw what is a condition type. We will add our condition type here. So once we add our condition type here, the description will get populated automatically. And we have these two fields, from and to, from where to where the calculation has to happen. And then if it is a manual condition, then we maintain it as a manual. And if it is a mandatory condition, then we will need to maintain it as required. And in case if this condition type does not take part in the pricing calculation, then we can mark it as statistical. So example of statistical conditions we have seen, VPRS is a cost condition which is statistical, and similarly SKTO is the discount condition which is again statistical. So statistical conditions does not take part in the price calculation. It will be just used for reporting purposes. Then we have something called the print. So print, based on the setting here, it will enable what value has to be printed in the document. Then we have something called the subtotal. So which field has to hold the value of this calculation. So you have tried to calculate something at the end. For example, here you have tried to uh, somewhere you have tried to calculate the rebate. So what is the basis at which the rebate will be given? So where do we hold the value? So that will be defined by the setting here. So on what basis the rebate has to be provided? So what is the value for the rebate? That value will be held at a particular field. So that will be decided based on the setting that is present at the subtotal. Then we have something called the requirement. So certain conditions which needs to be satisfied for the condition type to be triggered. This is called requirement. Then we have calculation type and alternate condition base value. So in case if you wish to have a different calculation type than the standard one, you need to write that in a program and add that routine here as a calculation type. And then we have something called the condition base value. So on what value the conditions would get calculated. So there will be a condition base value on which the percentage would get calculated. So that base value may change for certain conditions. So in case of freight, we may not be able to um, we might need to have a different base value. Like we cannot have the base as a price to calculate freight. We need to have weight or volume to calculate freight. In those cases, we need to add a different routine here. So that is about alternate condition base value. And then we have something called the account key and the accrual key. This will be part of the revenue account determination, where we will be using this account key and the accrual key to determine the GL accounts. So this is about the pricing procedure. So how to create our own pricing procedure. So you can copy an existing pricing procedure and you can create your own pricing procedure. And if you have any specific condition types you need to add, you can add it. So usually there will be a lot of gaps that will be available between one step and another step. So in those places, you can add your own condition types, so without disturbing the existing setting. So that's the reason why you will see that this step is not continuous. So there are certain numbers that are left in between. So between 400 to 800, you see that there is a lot of space. So you will be able to add your own condition types in these spaces. So it is not always continuous. So that is the reason why these pricing procedures are usually configured with a lot of gap between one step and another step. So the step starts with 8 and then it's going to 11, then 13. So if you want to add any condition in between 21 to 100, you can add it. So that is the reason for this kind of a gap. So this is about the pricing procedure configuration.
Mhm. Sir, hello.
Yeah, Vivek.
Sir, in that condition type means that manual check. If we assign a check to the simply R02
Hmm.
here,
Hmm.
then we can add it manually.
Yes,
And if we do not assign that check, then
you will not be able to add that condition type manually. It has to be determined automatically through condition records.
okay.
So if any condition type, price condition type does not have an access sequence, it means that it is a manual condition. So if you go to HM00 or HA00, which is a header discount condition, you will see that you can manually add that condition type. So it is
Mm.
not a automatic condition type. Automatic condition, what is the difference between automatic condition and a manual condition is that automatic condition will only have access sequence. Manual, there is no need for an access sequence because it will be manually written. So no need to search for any key combinations to determine condition record. So there is no access sequence that is present. But even if you have the access sequence assigned and if you still want to overwrite it manually, then you can maintain it as a manual condition in the pricing procedure.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
And
sir.
one more thing. Okay, go on, continue.
So can you please tell us more in detail about the account key and the accruals? I mean, regarding the revenue account determination.
Yes. So ideally, what happens is uh, whenever you make a sale, so there will be a invoice that is getting generated, and based on that invoice, accounting document will be generated. So inside that accounting document, you will be seeing that the sales revenue. So what is the revenue that you are going to get out of that sale? That sales revenue will be posted to a specific GL account, and then we will have some freight that is incurred in that. So that freight cost will be posted to a freight account. Similarly, there will be some discounts that will be posted to a discount account, discount GL account. So how this GL account will get determined for these different revenues, freight, different costs. Sales revenue gets posted to a separate GL account, freight gets posted to a separate GL, discounts get posted to a separate GL, surcharges get posted to a separate GL. So that determination of GL account is based on this account key. So what condition type there, for example, sales revenue means it will look at this condition type PR00. So PR00 is having account key ERL. So against this account key in combination with the sales org, account assignment group of customer, account assignment group of the material, we will have a GL account assigned. So to that GL account only the sales revenue will get posted to. Similarly, if there is a freight condition here, for example, here you have freight condition KF00, for example, I'm telling. So here you have freight condition KF00. Here you see the account key is ERF. So for this account key, along with this account key, the system will consider the combination of sales or customer account assignment group, material account assignment group. There will be a GL account assigned, so that freight will be posted to that GL account. Similarly, if there is a rebate condition, then it will post it to this account. So that settings we are maintaining it in this VKOA settings. We call that as VKOA settings, which is nothing but the revenue account determination. If you go to SPRO, you can go to sales and distribution, basic functions, account assignment, revenue account determination. Here you will have define and assign account determination procedures. Okay, sorry, this is account determination procedure. Define and assign account keys. Sorry, not this. Assign GL accounts. Yeah. Here, these are the different key combinations that are available. So, for example, let us select this key combination and see. Now here you see the application condition type chart of accounts will remain common. For sales org, this account assignment group of customer, account assignment group of material, and for this account key, what is the GL account? See here, although it is not maintained, so they might have maintained it for a different combination here. In our case, they might have maintained it here, customer group or account key. So here, if you go into our case, like for example, application is V, condition type is KOFI, chart of accounts was INT, sales are 1000, account assignment group of customers is 1. If you look at this, see this is the GL account which is assigned in our case. So in case if any sales revenue happens, then that sales is symbolized by the condition type PR00. That is the price. So price PR00 is having account key ERL. So that ERL, the system will look at ERL and it will pick that ERL. And for that ERL, it will take the combination of our sales or our account assignment group of the customer and material, and it will search for valid GL account. If it is not present in the first key combination, it will go to the second. If it is not present in the second, it will go for the third, likewise. Based on that, it will determine to which GL account the sales revenue has to be posted to. Similarly, for freight, it will look like that. Similarly, for sales deductions, it will look. Similarly, for rebates, it will look like. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. So the account keys will remain same, or it will changes.
Account key will
And
remain same, right? Because for PR00, it will always be ERL only.
okay, so these are the
So
standard ones only,
standard
ERL,
one.
ERS.
Yeah, these are the standard account keys. For in case if there is some cash sale happening, means in those cases we will have a separate cash account, ECC. We call that separate cash credit cash account, ECC. To that cash amount will get credited to. So the account keys usually remain same, and then they will be picked up from standard only.
Okay, and you have said that there will be a linkage between SD and FI.
This is the
So
link.
we need, this is the link, I guess.
Yes, this is the link between SD and FI. So between each and every module, there will be a link actually. So like between SD and FI, this is the interface. Accounting is the interface. Whenever you release the documents to accounting, that is the point where we touch base with the FI module to understand what is the GL account and to which accounts we need to make the postings to.
Okay, so and one more thing, sir.
Mm.
During the billing document types and pricing document types. So
Mm-hmm.
I think in that cases during maintain type, during the maintain option,
Mhm.
there is a key combination like um, can you please go into that tab?
Which one?
Maintain billing documents or maintain pricing document types.
Maintain billing document type. This one.
In that case, in the configuration,
This is the configuration. No.
uh, I mean document pricing procedure and that
You
type.
want pricing procedure determination.
Yeah. Is it remains same for billing as well and
That's what, right? It all depends on the document pricing procedure. So there will not be separate pricing procedure determination for billing, or it will not be separate for sales order. There will be only one combination. So
I
based on the
think
document pricing procedure, it will change.
okay, but I think both both the fields are same for the billing and pricing as well. I think says organization, distribution channel, division, and the two things like document pricing procedure and customer pricing
Yes.
procedure.
See,
It will remain
yeah,
same.
yeah. See, let me tell you. See, now in our case, sales org is 1000, distribution channel 10, division 00. What happens? So now this is our example. So let us take this one. Okay. Now, whenever we created a sales order, okay, we are creating sales order for sales document type OR. Okay. So OR, what is the document pricing procedure?
Yeah.
Okay. Now for which sales area we are creating 1000, 10, 00. Document pricing procedure is A. And let us assume that our customer pricing procedure is 1 inside the customer master. Now for this combination, the price that will get determined, pricing procedure that gets determined is ZRVAGM. Okay. So in sales order, this pricing procedure will get determined. After that, when we try to create a billing document, if for example, now you are trying to attempt to create a billing document, and for this sales document, the billing document type that is proposed by system is F2. In F2's configuration, the system will check what is the document pricing procedure. So in F2, the document pricing procedure is again A only. So there will not be any change. So in case if we here, if the document pricing procedure is C, for example, then what will happen is this might get determined. So this pricing procedure might get determined.
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it.
Okay. Okay. So Vivek, you are asking something.
Uh, See, in a item condition, if
Hmm.
default item condition like a PR00 or K007 is already by default for that
Mm-hmm.
material,
Hmm.
and if added the manually condition type like RC00,
Hmm.
and we go through that update push button and change it to the B type pricing
Hmm.
procedure B,
Hmm.
then what will happen that
See,
the
there are many options in the pricing type. So you should use your option judiciously. So if I go to VA01, for example, I'm trying to create a sales order.
okay,
See, pricing type, there are many things. So you should select whichever you wanted to do. So now let us try to create here. See, now I am double click this, we'll go to the item details. There we'll go to conditions. Now, if you want to update the price, see, there are multiple options that will show here. See, these are the options. Now, here you need to select your suitable option. Now, what is A? You read all this. Copy price components and redetermine scales. So what will happen? The existing already determined prices, it will copy all these, and in case if there is any change in the scales, then it will redetermine. Scales in the sense, if there is any change in the price for scales, from 0 to 10 we have maintained one price, from 11 to 20 you maintain some price. So if there is any change in that scales values, then these prices will get redetermined, but it will copy everything as such in the first place, then it will redetermine the scales. This is option A. Option B, it will completely redetermine all the prices. So everything it will erase and it will redetermine from the beginning. That is carry out new pricing. If it is C, what it is written, copy manual pricing elements and redetermine others. So before you apply this update, you might have added some manual conditions. It will just copy that manual and it will try to redetermine the automatically determined condition. So if you go to G, copy pricing elements unchanged and redetermine taxes. So whatever got determined earlier before the update, it will copy the same, and only the tax conditions it will redetermine. So H means what will happen? It will copy everything and it will only redetermine the freight conditions. So similarly, I means it will redetermine rebate conditions. So likewise, here if you see the description, it is clearly mentioned what the system will perform, what operation the system will do, it is telling you. So in case if you have added any manual conditions, then you try to update, you can choose option C. Option C, what it will do, it will not change any manual condition types. It will just like that, it will copy all the manual conditions and redetermine other conditions. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
So you have to use the option very carefully. Which one you want to choose, you have to choose very carefully. Okay.
Yes, sir. And sir, by default, which pricing type is assigned means
By
if
default, you always select B only.
B.
Hmm. B means it
Okay.
will do carry out a new pricing. Completely it will redetermine all the prices from the beginning. So B is always choose. The B is only always chosen.
Means see, sir, if see there is net price of 99 euro, and
Hmm.
if we go to B, the price
Hmm.
changes to something like suppose 150, and
Hmm.
if we want to go back means like undo, then what we
Hmm.
have to, what can we do?
Why it got changed to 150 from 99? You have to understand. If your condition records value itself has been changed, then
Mm,
what can you do for that? You cannot change it back to 99, means again you got to go and change the condition record to 90, and then you have to again run this pricing. Again you have to reprice the order. Again you have to carry out new pricing.
okay.
So it all depends on the condition records value, right? Suddenly why will it change from 90 to 150? So if you have
Mm,
changed the condition records value while creating the sales order, if the
mm,
condition records value was some 100, and after you created the sales order, the condition records value you changed it to 200, and then you
yeah.
reprice the order, then the value
Mm,
becomes 200, right?
yeah.
And then why you want to go back to 100 means you have to go and again change the condition record to 100, and then again you have to reprice the order.
Okay, got it.
So it all depends on the condition records value, what value you have given for the condition type.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now for example, whenever you created a sales order, at that time if there was no condition record created, then the price will not get determined. And after you created the sales order, you created a condition record, then in that case, you can what you can do, you can simply just update the price. Then if you update the price, then what will happen? It will redetermine the condition record. So that is the significance of having the update button here. And if you want to understand why particular condition type did not get determined, then you can go and click on the analysis window. If you go and click on the analysis window, it will give you a list of all the condition types that are present in the pricing procedure and which and all got determined. You can see. So for this order, you see this is the pricing procedure that got determined. And these are all the condition types that are present inside the pricing procedure. So if, for example, if you want to check if PR00, you select this, you can see these are all the different accesses that are present, and here you can see this mark. If this particular mark is there, it means that the condition record is present and it got determined. So similarly, if any condition record did not get determined, it will tell you why that condition record did not. So here you can see why this condition did not get determined. Here you can see KA00. So here also you can check why condition record did not get determined. Likewise, you can go and check the analysis window and you can see why that particular condition type did not get determined. So this is the significance of having the analysis window.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then once the pricing procedure is determined, then we can save the sales order and we can proceed further. So pricing procedure, we should be you should be able to set up the pricing procedure by copying any existing pricing procedure and updating the condition types inside that. So any doubts on this pricing procedure concept so far?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Kuldeep.
There are, sir, can you please tell us about the block? I mean, we are maintaining at header level, item level.
Mm-hmm.
Same blocks are there, I guess. So, is there any specific reason we are maintaining, or just having at only header? Is it not possible? Because for
It is,
regardless, the function is same.
see, for example, if you create a sales document and in that inside that sales document you have some 100 line items.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you don't want the entire order to be delivered, you place the block at the header level. So the system will not allow you to create delivery for the sales order if unless you remove the block at the header level. If you place any block at the header level, it means that the entire sales document is blocked and you will not be able to proceed with that sales document until you remove that block. Whereas if you place the block at the item level, only that particular item you will not be able to deliver. You will be able to proceed with other items.
Okay, but there is a one more option like reason of rejection. We can give it for that specific item as well, and we can block it.
If you give reason for rejection means that means it becomes completed, right? You will not have the option of again creating a delivery for that item, right? So if you're not at all going to process that item, then okay, finally you can give a reason for rejection and close it. But reason for rejection and block are two different things, right? Block will be used in a different scenario. Reason for rejection will be used in a different scenario. So you have delivered out of the 10 line items, you have delivered 9 items and only one line item is pending. And one line item, the order will still be showing as open. But you wanted to close that order. Means you can update reason for rejection for that line and the order becomes completed. But if it is a block, then the system gives you the possibility of creating the delivery if you remove the block, right?
Okay,
So
but if we give the reason of rejection,
mm,
I mean, if we are processing the sales order for 10 lines, and
mm,
if we give the reason of rejection for any of single item for line item
mm,
1,
mm,
so it will be on hold for some confirmation. So
mm.
after we get the confirmation, we can release it from the by removing the reason of rejection as well, I guess.
See, the concept of this reason for rejection and block are two different concepts. Why we need to have a block is to tell them that for so and so reason we cannot process this item. Okay,
Okay.
it can be a credit block, it can be some other block due to availability check or any other block. But after having processed everything and still if you feel that some quantity is left or in the, for example, let us take one sales order where you have some 3 line items and you have completely delivered 2 line items and only 1 line item out of some quantity of some 50 quantity in that line item you have delivered some 40 quantity and there is still 10 quantity to be delivered, and for that 10 the order will still show as open because the 10 the quantity is still not delivered. So in that case, if you want to complete that order, you just place reason for rejection and you can complete that order. Here, if you put reason for rejection, the order becomes completed, right? So again, the system will not show that order as open, right?
But I think if we put the reason of rejection in quotation, then it will
Mm.
show it completed in sales order, right? So if we put reason of rejection in sales order,
Mm.
then I think
If you put
maybe we
reason for
can,
rejection in sales order also, that sales order becomes completed, right?
but it will be open if we remove that reason of rejection, like
See,
block.
that is a different question, Kuldeep. If you want to keep it in a different way, then that is fine. But the concept of the reason for rejection, why they have this, is totally different, and
Okay.
why they have the delivery block or any other block is a different reason altogether. So you cannot combine both.
Okay.
That
Okay.
reason for having that, the business justification to have that is a different thing. You cannot compare both. They are in two different concepts. So now, for example, now I will create a sales order. I create a sales order. Okay, now I'm saving the sales order. Now the sales order is saved. Now let us create delivery for this. So if I try to create delivery, now out of this 10, let us only create delivery for 8 quantity. Okay. So now if I create delivery for 8 quantity only, the order will still remain as being processed, right?
Yes, sir.
So now the delivery I created, out of 10 quantity in the order, I created delivery for 8 quantity. Okay, now 8 quantity I created. Now let us go and check the document flow and let us see what it says. So the document flow shows that the order is being processed. If you had created delivery for entire 10 quantity, the order would have become completed now and the delivery will be showing as open. Now this is also in being processed and this is also in open. Delivery is open, that is because we have not processed the delivery, that is fine. But the order is showing as being processed because we have not created delivery for the entire 10 quantity. We created only for 8 quantity. Correct. Now if we go to the order and apply reason for rejection, VA02, so now if I double click on this line and if I apply some reason for rejection here, any delivery date too late, like that we'll put and we'll update the reason for rejection. Okay, now
So, does it mean like we need to use reason of rejection only in case of we need to complete the preceding document?
yes, so you are rejecting this so that that document becomes complete. Now if I go and check the document flow, you will be able to see that the order is now completed. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us understand now. If you want to remove the reason for rejection, let us see if the system allows you to remove the reason for rejection. You can remove, that is not a problem, but the concept is totally different. Why you want to have a reason for rejection and why you are having a block. Those are two different concepts. The system will allow you to remove the reason for rejection and you can still make it as open and again you can create delivery for the remaining two. So that is not the question here. The concept why you have to apply a reason for rejection is completely different. So delivery block is something, a block is something that comes by default by system into the system based on the settings that you make for the document type. So sales document type, you have a delivery block. If you apply in the document type configuration, if you have updated the block, then the system, when you create the sales order, you will receive the block automatically, and that you need to remove it manually and then you need to process it. Similarly for billing block also, if you update the billing block in sales document type configuration, then there will be a billing block. Like example is the credit memo request or the debit memo request, which gets created with a billing block. So you need to remove the block and you need to process the document. But whereas case of reason for rejection is you are updating the block to make it completed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So any further questions on this before we move further?
No, sir.
Okay. How about others?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So then we saw what are the different condition types, like header conditions. We saw what is HA00, HM00, then hierarchy pricing conditions, HI01. Then we saw what is complete pallet discount, incomplete pallet surcharge, mixed complete pallet discount, mixed incomplete pallet surcharge. So all these are the different types of special condition types that we can use in the system. And then we saw the statistical conditions like VPRS and SKTO, how they are used. So we had a separate unit where we discussed about these special condition types. So I hope you are all able to recall the different condition types that we were discussing. So apart from this, we have other standard condition types also, like minimum price, customer expected price, then minimum net price, so minimum order value conditions. So all these will be used appropriately depending on your business scenarios. So once we have these condition types, then we discussed what is the pricing agreements. So we discussed what is promotion, what is sales deal, how to create a promotion, and how to create a sales deal. So once you create promotion, we can refer that and we can create a sales deal. All these promotions and sales deals will have a specific validity period, and inside that we can apply the condition type and the condition record we can create for those particular conditions for this promotion. And once you create the sales order, that condition type gets applied there. And once that condition type gets applied, then we can save the sales order. And when you attempt to create the delivery and then you create the billing document, inside that billing document you will be able to see this promotion number and the sales deal number that I have shown you. So this is one type of a price agreement. The other type of price agreement is the rebates. So what is a rebate and why do we use a rebate? So rebate is nothing but it's kind of a discount which is paid to the customer at a later date and not immediately. So accruals is something that gets accumulated for the based on the rebate agreement that we get created for the particular payer. So rebate, if you want to activate rebate, it has to be done at three places. One is at the customer master of the payer, second is at the sales org level, and third is at the billing document type. So all these three places we need to activate the rebate. So once the rebate is activated, we can create a rebate agreement by referring to the standard rebate agreement types that are present in the system. So rebate agreement type will have validity period. Then we will update the condition records inside that. And inside that condition record, we place the value of rebate that you are going to give to the customer. So once the rebate agreement is created, then whatever billing documents that get generated which satisfies that condition, then the rebate condition type gets updated in those billing documents, and those values get accumulated in the rebate agreement as accruals. So we can create partial settlement, any number of partial settlements we can create, and we can create one final settlement to close the rebate. So partial settlement creation is generates a credit memo request, and by removing the billing block in the credit memo request, we can create a credit memo to the customer, which means that you are settling that amount to the customer. So we can create rebate agreements retroactively as well. So we can create today, we can create a rebate agreement with a validity date starting in the past. So once you do that, we will get this particular pop-up which says that the sales volume is not current. So in order to correct that, we can run transaction VBOF so that it will consider all the billing documents that were created before the agreement creation, and it will pull all the accruals into the rebate agreement. So that is about the rebate agreements. So any doubts on the rebate agreements? You managed to create some rebate agreements and you were able to perform the settlement as well. Any specific doubts on this rebate process from anyone?
No, sir.
Okay. Kuldeep, Onkar, Vikrant, Saurabh,
No, sir.
any doubts on the rebate process? So you're all clear. Okay. So after we discussed the rebates, then we discussed on what is the billing process. So billing process, how the billing process starts. So where the billing process start. So immediately when the post goods issue happens for the delivery document, then the document becomes eligible for billing and it will start appearing in the billing due list. So once it appears in the billing due list, we can create invoice. So invoice creation can happen on a standalone mode using VF01 transaction, or you can use VF04 to create collective invoices as well. So invoice split and invoice combination, we have seen what are the criteria for invoice split and invoice combination and how to see the split analysis. We have seen that. So then we saw what is the special billing processes like pro forma cash sales invoice that we have seen. So generally the billing document type definition, we have seen what are the significant fields that we have inside the billing document type, like the number range assignment. Then we can see what is the uh, negative posting, relevance for rebate, whether it is statistical. Then we saw what is the credit memo with value date field, head office, branch office field, and then we saw what is a account determination procedure that is assigned to that billing document type, text determination procedure, output determination procedure. So all those procedures would have been assigned to the billing document type. So that is about the billing document type configuration. So the structure of the billing document will be having a header and item. So the information at the header is common across all the billing documents, and the information at the item is common to the specific item. So once the billing document gets created, then we can either put a block, the posting block in the billing document, so it prevents automatic release to accounting. So if we want to have that kind of a thing, we can update a posting block in the billing document type configuration, so that we can use VFX3 transaction to manually release the billing documents to accounting. So once the accounting document is generated, then the customer will make the incoming payments and the incoming payments can be recorded. So that is about the billing process. Then we saw the special billing processes like cash sales, then credit memos, debit memos, and the return processes as well. So any doubts on those billing processes which we discussed? Okay. So then we discussed what are the different billing plans. So what is a periodic billing and a milestone billing? So the billing plans, what are the difference between these two? So what is a periodic billing and how to make an item category relevant for billing plan? Then what is the billing relevance for these billing plans? So we saw that, and we also created some sales orders and we changed the item category, and we saw the billing plan tab that is appearing at the item level, and from there you can create invoices for those particular billing periods. So how to define billing plans? So we have seen inside the billing plan definition, we have date categories, date category requests. So what is the horizon for that, how that is defined, billing reference plan, all these things are present. So then in case of milestone billing, what is the document type that is used to create the down payment request? Once the down payment request is created, then we need to record the down payment, and once it is recorded, then we can create billing for subsequent milestones. Once a particular milestone has reached, then we can create a billing document for that milestone, and inside that we will get the information about the down payment as well. If you want to change the value of the down payment there, you can refer to a specific condition type, and we can use a WR condition type, and we can change the value of the down payment request. So this is about the down payment, and we have another payment called the installment payment. So installment is nothing but depending on the payment term, the installment payment term will appear in the billing document, and on what are the dates in which you want to have the installment payment enabled, it will appear in the print output. So that is about the installment payment. So it is about the normal payments which you generally adopt installment payments. So then we saw what is the copy control. So from the beginning we have seen copy control. So what is copy control, why it is really required, so how to copy the data from a source document to the target document. So copy control can be set up at different levels. For sales document it can be set for delivery, and it also can be set up for billing document. For sales document, what are the different ways in which you can create a sales document? So there are two ways in which you can create a sales document. One is you can create sales document from another sales document. So example is creation of sales order by referring to quotation, or creation of quotation by referring to inquiry. That is example of creation of sales document by referring to another sales document. Then creation of sales document by referring to another billing document. So you can refer an invoice and you can create a credit memo request, or you can refer to a billing document and you can create an invoice correction request. So that is about creation of sales document by referring to a billing document. So these are the two ways in which you can create a sales document. And there is only one way in which you can create a delivery document, that is by referring to a sales order. And there are three ways in which you can create a billing document. You can create billing document by referring to sales document. So that is called order related billing. You can create billing document by referring to delivery document. That is called delivery related billing. And you can create billing document by referring to another billing document. So example is invoice cancellation document. So whenever you want to cancel a particular billing document, you can refer the original billing document and you can create a cancellation document. So F2 billing document, you can cancel and create S1 as a cancellation document. So that is an example of creation of billing document from another billing document. So inside the copy control, we have three different kind of settings. One is the data transfer routine, another is the copying requirement, and the third is the switch or the controls. So what is the data transfer routines? Routines are generally written in ABAP language, and this will be certain kind of a code which will tell us on what basis the copying has to happen. So that is the data transfer routines. So header related, partner related, business item data. So all these are some of the data transfer routines. And copying requirements, under what conditions the copying has to be enabled. So that will be based on the copying requirements. And switch or controls are nothing but what kind of data has to be copied, whether the document flow has to be updated, whether the item number has to be copied. All these controls we can place using some checkboxes. So these are the different copy control options. So if you are creating a sales order from another sales order, then the copy control has to happen at the header, item, and the schedule line. In the case of delivery and billing, copy control has to be updated at the header and the item level. So any doubts on this copy control process? I hope you're all clear on this copy control, which is very important process actually. So if you have any doubts, please let me know now so that I can show you.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so we'll move on further. Just give me a minute. I will be back in 2 minutes. Yes, so now let us continue our discussion. So any doubts so far on any of the concepts which we covered starting today?
No, sir.
Okay, so SD module, as you are aware, like it is not a standalone module. So at every point of time in the SD process, there will be some kind of a linkage between other modules. So whenever we attempt to create a sales order, the system performs an availability check based on the material and the plant. So if you enter a particular material in the sales order, then inside that material we have the availability check mentioned, either 01 or 02 or any custom availability check. Based on that availability check, along with the checking group, for SD order means the checking group will be A, or if it is a SD delivery means the checking group will be B. So in combination, this availability check in combination with that checking group, the system will perform availability check based on the inward and outward movements. And also the plant plays a significant role. So once the plant is determined, so plant gets determined automatically in the sales order based on customer material information record is the first priority for the system to look at the plant. So if the system determines the plant automatically, then the plant is inside the plant only, the system has to check for the availability of the material. So this is the first place where the integration between SD and or the material management module happens. And once the availability check happens, then whenever you attempt to perform post goods issue, then at that point of time, the system generates a material document. When you perform post goods issue, the system generates a goods issue document or the material document, which symbolizes the movement types. Inside that, you can see the movement type. So any movement type is actually any movement that happens which hits any particular GL account is recorded using the movement type. So that is the second place where the linkage between SD and module happens. And also the transfer orders that gets created is also another kind of a link between SD and module. So transfer order creation happens based on a particular plant. We create the transfer order, and inside the transfer order we ensure the movement between one storage location to another storage location, or from one storage bin to another storage bin. So all these things happen in the transfer order. So that is also another link between SD and module. And then whenever you create an invoice and you transfer the document to accounting, then the linkage between FI happens. So FI and SD linkage is happening through the accounting document. So we discussed about the revenue account determination a few minutes back when Kuldeep asked certain clarification. So revenue account determination is the linkage between SD and FI module. So that is where we determine the GL accounts to post the revenues or the sales deductions or the rebates or the accruals. So that is the linkage between SD and FI module. And also whenever credit check happens, so credit check happens during sales order creation, during delivery creation, or during post goods issue, the system checks for the customer's credit limit. And in case if the customer has exceeded the credit limit, the system automatically updates a block. And once the credit limit is updated, then only the system will allow to create the delivery or the subsequent processes. So that credit limit check also happens in FI. We can have either a standalone FSCM system which can perform the credit check, or the credit check can be performed inside ECC or the SAP system as well. So this is another place where the integration happens between SD and FI module. So in your interview, from an interview perspective, like these are the important questions that they will be asking you on what are the integration points between SD and and SD and FI module. So you should be in a position to explain them in more detail about these integrations which SD is having with other modules. So any doubts on these interfaces with other modules?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So that with that we come to end of the billing document process. So after the billing document process, we discussed about the text determination and output determination. So text determination, as I have told you, like texts are available everywhere. So it is available in customer master. You can update text in sales order. You can update text in delivery document. You can update text in billing document. So text is nothing but it is used to provide certain kind of information to the person who processes that sales order. So any person who processes a particular delivery document, or he wants to handle the material, so if you want to give him some instruction about how to handle that material, then you can update some text in the delivery document, because the person who is creating the sales order would be different from the person who is handling the delivery, and he would be different from the person who would be processing the invoice for this. So if you want to send any information, then you need to update those information in the form of text inside the sales document. Or if the customer is having any special instructions that needs to be followed during the sales processing for that particular customer, then the customer master, inside that we can have certain text, and that text can flow from the customer master to the sales order. So we can create our own text. So text determination happens through text determination procedure. So text determination procedure is assigned to our sales document header or sales document type OR. So inside that text determination procedure, we would be having text types. So we can create our own text types. I shown you last week how to create our own text type. Once we have the text type created, we can add an access sequence to that text type, and then we can add this text type into the text determination procedure, and then that particular text type will start appearing in our sales document header or item, or depending on the place where you have added the text type. So text control is also another important concept where they will be asking some questions in the interview. Also in the certification point of view, text determination is also important. And then any questions on text determination? I hope you are all able to create some text types and objects you are able to create. Any specific queries or doubts on text from anyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. So then the last concept which we saw was about the output control. So output determination is another important concept which is used to trigger outputs in the form of printout or fax or emails. So we can configure the output using output types. So output type represents the condition type which will be used in the output determination process. So output determination happens through condition technique. So inside the output determination procedure, we can add our own output types, and the medium of the medium or the output medium can be defined in the output master record. So what are the information that would be present in the output master record? Will be the output type, then the partner to whom which we need to trigger the output, then the medium of transmission, whether it is a print or a fax or it is an EDI medium or whatever it is. And then we will have the dispatch time, whether you want to send it along with the application own transaction, whether you want to process it using a batch job, or whether you can save trigger the output immediately when you save the application. So that is the medium or the dispatch time. Then you have the language in which you want to trigger the output. So these are the different options that are available. So that is about creating a master record. So we can create output determination procedure, add the condition types or the output types into the determination procedure. We can assign the output determination procedure. So if you want the outputs to be triggered from the header, you need to assign the output determination procedure to the document type. If you want it to have the output triggered from the item, you can assign it to the item category. So outputs can be triggered from sales orders, deliveries, or billing documents. So from anywhere you can have these outputs. So these are some of the important configurations related to output. So inside the output type configuration, we will have certain settings related to access sequence, whether you can enable this output for multiple issuing. So if there is a change that is happening to the document, and in that time if you want to issue the output, then what are the processing routines and the form. If in case if it is a PDF output, then we need to create a smart form program and attach that form into the output. So what is a smart form? So the layout, how the print output looks like, that will be decided based on the program, smart form program. So inside the smart form program, we can give details on the various information that is present in the layout, where this information has to be picked up and how that has to be updated in the layout. So the design of the layout and the placement of the information inside the layout is decided by the smart form. So you don't need to worry about how to create smart form and all. That will be taken care by the technical consultants. You just need to provide them with the appropriate information on what you expect from the layout. So then that is about the output determination. So one last concept which we are yet to discuss about the output is the EDI output, or the electronic data interchange. So this is one type of output which gets usually triggered when you want to send the information through electronic medium from one system to another system. So EDI is what we call it as electronic data interchange. And in case if you want to set up an electronic data interchange output, then you need to create an output type with medium as 6. Medium 6 represents electronic data interchange. So in case of our sales document, for example, we can see that electronic data interchange outputs have triggered in some of the sales orders. So I will just show you how that output looks like and what is a EDI format. So let us go into this output for this particular sales order. Here you can see that this is an order confirmation which has been triggered electronically. So here you see that the medium is showing as A, which is nothing but ALE. ALE means application link enabling. So the master record for this YR03 might have been set up with this medium. So if you go and select the processing log, it will give the number of the Idoc. So here you can see Idoc sent to SAP system. So you can select this Idoc number and you can open another session and you can go to a specific transaction called WE02. So although these details are not present in your certification, but I just wanted you to understand this. So you can give the Idoc number here and remove this date because this was triggered before. So if you select this, here you will see the Idoc. So this is what we call it as an Idoc, or the intermediary document. Idoc means intermediary document. So intermediary document, it has 3 segments: control record, data record, and status record. And here you will have some short technical information. So what does this mean? So let us look at one by one. Now control record. So if you double click on this control record, it will tell you what is the type of this output. So it is triggered from the order. So we have basic type and the logical message. So basic type is orders 05, and inside that orders 05 we will be having different logical messages. One for order create, one for order change, one for order delete. Like that we will be having different kind of messages within the basic type. So basic type orders 05 is one such basic type which will be used for orders related information. There is another basic type called delivery 07, which will be used for delivery related information. So if you want to perform automatic post goods issue from external system, so the external system will send certain information and that will get converted into an Idoc in the middleware system, and that will post the post goods issue in the system. For that, they will use the basic type as delivery 07, but the logical message inside the delivery 07 will be something else. So WHS CON or WHS ORD, all these are some of the logical messages that are present inside the basic type. Similarly, there is another basic type called invoice. So inside that, there will be another logical messages related to invoice processing. So whenever you want to trigger an invoice to external system, then we will use that kind of a basic type along with the logical message. So here you see the basic type is orders 05 and the message type or the logical message is order ORD or SP, which is nothing but order confirmation message, which is being sent to the external system. So partner, it will tell from where to where this information is being sent. So sender information is SAP ID7. From this system, it is sending to another system via CON port, icon port. So it is sending to this system. Then have something called the technical info. So here, and what is the time of creation, date of creation of this Idoc message. So this information will be present. So this is a message which is getting triggered from SAP to the external system. So it is called an outbound message. So outbound messages will have statuses starting from 01 to 49. So any status which you see here, if it is below 49, then it means it is an outbound message. After 49, whatever status you see, it belongs to an inbound message, which means that those represent the messages which is coming into the system. So if we check any messages coming into the system, they will be having status which is above 49. So let us check if any messages are coming into the system. So we'll check. If we put direction here, 1 represents outbound messages. That is the messages that are sending from SAP to outbound. Inbound means those are the messages which are coming into the system. So let us check if any messages are coming into the system. So yes, there are inbound messages which are coming into the system. So see, although the status you see it is in 56. So statuses above 49 or 50, for example, which represents it's an inbound message. So here you see the status is 56. So it symbolizes that it is an incoming message. So then we have the control record and then we have the data record. So data record is nothing but you have different segments, and inside those segments we will have different fields. So the order which we are sending is split up, the information, order information is split up across these segments. So in this segment, you see what is the currency used in our order, what is the payment term, what is our order number, what is the shipping condition, then what is the recipient or the ship to party. So likewise, there are many segments for the header and for the item. So here I don't see any proper item segments here. So item segments will usually starts with E1 EDP. K represents header, P represents item. So these are the number of segments which carry the information from SAP to the another system. So then we have something called the status record, which tells us what is the status of this Idoc. So the status of this Idoc when generated was 01, then it became 30 when it was ready for dispatch, and after it was processed, it became 03. This is how an Idoc will look like. And this is what we call it as EDI. So electronically, you are sending this information to another system, so that another system can be a SAP system or even a non-SAP system. So if it is a non-SAP system, they will have to do some kind of a conversion to convert this message into their own Idoc format or a message, standard Idoc message, and then they will be able to read that information in their system. So these are little advanced concepts. So you don't need to worry about this. You will not be asked much details in your certification or your interviews, but just it is a good to know information. So what is an Idoc? Why we use an Idoc? So Idocs are used to send information electronically from one system to another system. So what are the different structure of an Idoc? So you have a control record, we have a data record, and you have a status record. So what is an incoming Idoc? What is an outgoing Idoc? So this is an outbound Idoc, means the information that is being sent from SAP to external system is called outbound Idoc. Similarly, that system, if they want to update some information in this SAP, they will send some information that is called a inbound Idoc. So what is a basic type and what are the messages that are present inside the basic type? So basic type for orders processing is orders 05. Inside that you will have logical messages. One, to change Idoc. So for a change order, if you change any order, then that again it will trigger an Idoc. So that will have a logical message ORDCHG, something like that. So you can Google on this and you can find more information on how to configure an Idoc, what are the other information that will be related to Idoc processing. So this is a very basic set of information that I have provided you. So any specific queries on this, or you want to have any elaboration on this Idoc concept from anyone?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. So Kuldeep, you were asking about this Idoc some time back, I remember. So,
Yes, sir.
so you are aware of this, right?
A little bit.
Okay. So what you can do is like you can refer to some standard configurations for Idocs. So there are many steps that you need to follow to configure or set up Idocs. It is not a simple process to set up an interface. There are a lot of steps that you need to follow. So although they are much technical, but still from a functional side, we need to support the Idoc configurations. So any standard Idoc configuration documents you can refer, and you can try to look into the steps that usually they follow for setting up the interfaces. So try to look into that, and it's just an additional learning for you. Once you start working on them, then it will become more familiar for you.
Sir, is this the medium through which we are receiving the doubts or queries from the customers through IDOC?
What kind of doubts?
Mm, related to the SAP, maybe any if any end user is facing any kind of issues.
Idoc, no, we will not get that kind of technical issues and all. They will not post through Idocs. See, Idocs generally, we should try to understand why we use Idocs. Okay, first, for example, you have you are using SAP. Okay,
Hmm.
your customer is a non-SAP customer. Okay, they don't use SAP. Now you have created an order for that customer and you want to send the order confirmation to that customer. So you send it through an Idoc. They will receive the order confirmation in electronically and they will process that and they will be able to see that information. Similarly, when they send an acknowledgement, for example, they try to send an acknowledgement stating that we have received the order, then they send it in that message, or and they send it in a separate Idocs standard Idoc format. There are many standard Idocs that are available in the market, like EDI fact or A and CX12. All these are some of the Idoc formats that are available in standard. So they use any such Idoc format and they send the information. And using a middleware, example, cloud processing or cloud platform integration or SAP process integration or SAP PO, process orchestration. So SAP XI, exchange infrastructure. So these are all the middlewares. So using these middlewares, they process the information that they receive from the external system and they generate the Idoc and they send that Idoc to SAP. and in the SAP, that order acknowledgement, whatever they send, will get updated in the SAP order using the inbound function modules. So we use some programs which we call it as inbound function module, which process this and they will update the order. Similarly, if you are sending some delivery information to your customer, and if the customer is trying to process that, or if you are sending some delivery to the warehouse, for example, and the warehouse will just send the post goods issue information, then the post goods issue will get updated automatically here through the inbound Idoc. So this kind of processing of the transactional documents can be done through Idocs. So Idocs are generally used for sending and receiving information from external systems. So that external system can be a SAP system or a non-SAP system.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so any other doubts you have on these concepts?
No, sir.
Okay, how about others? Vivek, Saurabh, Onkar, Vikrant.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so actually, like we have done the revision and we have completed with this revisiting all the concepts. So in case if you have any specific topics which you wanted to cover, or you feel that you need more information on any specific topics, maybe you can let me know through WhatsApp, and then maybe we can cover that in some incoming days. So actually formally we have completed this training, so you can continue with our with your practical sessions, and try to revisit all the theoretical concepts. So any if you are who are all are planning to take certification exams, so
Next week.
okay, you are planning to take SAP certification, or it will be certification exam by the institute?
No, sir. SAP
No, sir.
certification.
Certification.
SAP certification.
Yes, sir.
When is your exam?
Sir, it is not scheduled yet, but we are
Uh-huh.
planning
But
to take.
next week.
Yeah, next week.
But you ensure that you prepare thoroughly,
Yes,
so
sir.
that
Sure.
you don't uh, so that you get cleared in the first attempt itself. So if you have any questions or doubts on that, maybe you can Google and you can find out all the certification dumps, all these things are available. So you can have a look, and then if you need more information also, you can ping me on WhatsApp. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have you
Sure.
all updated the feedback of your institute or not yet?
Not yet,
Uh,
sir.
sir, not yet.
Yes, sir.
What about that? We will do it today,
Can
sir.
you do it by today without fail?
Yes, sir. Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Sir,
uh,
you provided some theory PDF or not?
which one, Saurabh?
Interview questions.
Yeah, I sent it yesterday, day before yesterday, I think, through WhatsApp.
No, no,
Mm.
it's theory question.
Theory you wanted.
Yes.
Okay. Let me check my uh, database, and maybe I will share it. Interview questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have some, so let me check. I will try to share that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So anything else apart from this? So formally we have completed the training. So maybe you can take some time from tomorrow to prepare for your certification and examinations and interviews. So we will not have the formal classes from tomorrow. So if you want, we can convene at any convenient time. It's not that we need to convene only at morning. So any convenient time